Republican Trump-loving Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is in a lot of trouble right now. And unfortunately, it's not legal trouble. I would love nothing more than to sit here and tell you that he was under indictment, but no, that's not the case. So far, the guy hasn't done anything illegal, but his mishandling of the pandemic is sending Florida voters running into the arms of his opponents. His approval rating is tanking here in the state, and now, according to new polls, majority of Florida voters don't want him to run for president in 2024. Let me read some of these numbers. It's phenomenal. 59% of those surveys said they want their current governor to sit out the next presidential contest, which includes 61% of independents here in the state of Florida. Of course, Republicans do want him to run, but as a majority in the state, they say do not run for president again. 67% said they want him to seek the White House next time around, while just 24% said they want him to forego a run. Those are the Republican numbers. So, sure, strong Republican support still, but not as strong as it was. Continues. 47% approve of his job performance, 45% disapprove, margin of error 3% there. So, really a statistical tie on his approval rating here, which is down from a personal best right before the pandemic of 59%. Here's the big thing. Florida voters are largely split on DeSantis' 2022 re-election, with 48% saying he deserves a second term in the governor's mansion and 45% saying it's time for someone new. And again, with a 3% margin of error, that is technically a statistical tie. That, again, is a new low for Ron DeSantis. Here's where things get really interesting. U.S. Representative Charlie Crist, who is running against DeSantis, DeSantis would lose to him if the election were held today, earning just over 43% of the vote versus Crist, who would get close to 57%. Florida Agriculture Commissioner Nikki Fried is also running against him. Fried would win with 53.7% of the vote, with DeSantis attaining just 46.3% of the vote, again, if the election were held today. These are numbers that Ron DeSantis never thought in his wildest dreams that he would see. And believe it or not, his approval rating that's fallen right now is not actually the lowest it's been. He has actually had lower, but it rebounded. And unfortunately, it rebounded earlier this year when he started enacting all that super repressive legislation, restricting voting rights here in the state of Florida, the transgender athlete ban, the bill that allows you to run over a protester here in the state of Florida. Basically, all these idiot right-wing bills did boost his support here in the state. But even now that he's done that, now that he's waged the culture war here in the state of Florida, people are focusing more on the pandemic. They're watching him continue to double down. And he just said yesterday, that the federal government needs to run the rest of the country like he's running Florida. We're breaking records all the time in new COVID cases, total number of hospitalizations, kids in the ICU. We're breaking all the damn records here in Florida. And DeSantis refuses to step back and look at the situation calmly and say, you know what? I'll admit I've made some missteps here. Let's correct it. He's incapable of doing that. The man truly is a little version of Donald Trump. And it's killing the citizens here in Florida. But according to these polls, they're starting to take notice. And DeSantis may have to pay a political price for letting his state die. Ring of Fire has fresh content 7 days a week, so if you want to be reminded about it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell to be notified every time a new video goes up.